This video from Sam4S, we're taking a look at the ER-900 series, and in particular we're looking at doing initialization, so a factory reset of the machine, but also setting up a unique memory allocation. So if you see my other video, the first video on setting the machine up out the box, first use, you'll have heard me go on about how these are really powerful machines with lots of settings, and that really, even if you bought the machine second hand, you should consider getting a Sam4S dealer to set it up for you, because they'll know all the little things that'll work best for your business. But obviously if you're in a situation where that's not possible, then obviously in my other video I showed you how to load the default memory allocation. If you haven't seen that, I'd probably recommend watching that first, because in this one I'm just going to show you how to load a specific memory allocation. So these machines, the 900 series and this one, the 940, powerful machines, but they can be set up in lots of different ways. So you can use them with table tracking, you can have cashier interrupts, you can have different price levels for products, you can have menu levels, you can even set them up with barcode scanners and have up to 10,000 PLUs. But in order to do that, you need to perform the memory allocation, which means when you do this, you lose any programming. So this is like the first thing you have to do. So you have to understand the machine and then send the memory allocation up to enable you to program it in a way that's going to work best for your business, which is obviously what your traditional old school cash register dealer would do for you. So this is how to do it. You don't have to do the memory allocation exactly as I do, but this is just to show you how to tweak it and not have the standard memory allocation. So the start, the RAM all clear, is exactly the same as in my previous video. So you need to turn the machine off at the rocker switch on the side, and then you need the key marked C. So if you've got the machine second hand, you'll need to make sure that there's a key in there with the letter C on it. So you've got that one there. Pop it in, the key lock, if you can. And then you need to turn the key all the way around to what I used to call the 6 o'clock position. So that's a blind position that's unmarked on the mode lock. It's the service mode, it's a dealer or engineer settings mode, but it does enable you to perform the factory reset. You then need to press and hold down this button. On the default keyboard it's marked as charge 1, but if yours might be marked differently. If the machine's been programmed, they might have done a different keyboard and given it a different name, but it's always that button. So the position rather than what's on the name. Then with that button held down and the key in the C position, you turn the machine back on at the switch at the side. It'll come up and say RAM all clear, and then you need to press top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right, and the machine will perform the RAM all clear. So this is returning the machine back to the factory default. There's no personalized programming, there's no sales history, and it wants to load the default memory allocation. In the previous video I load the default memory allocation. In this video I'm going to change the memory allocation and put a bespoke one on there. So the first thing is load default setup. No, so we press the quantity time button here, and then it basically one by one it goes through all the things you can set. So the default setting is 8,000 PLUs. Depending on how you do the memory allocation, you can have up to 10,000. Really you'd only want that if you were using the machine with a barcode scanner. My machine is going to be programmed for hospitality, so a pub, so I'm going to cut mine down to 300 PLUs. So to do that, 300, then I'll press the cash button to confirm. It then moves on to Clark's, which is a default at 14. I'm going to change mine to 10. So you type in 10, cash. Groups, 99 is way over the top for me. I don't need 99 different groups. Groups are what you put PLUs into, so you can run reports by group. If you're not bothered about having different groups, then you can set this really low. I'm going to set mine to 10 because I'm not planning on using them, but I may want to use them, so I want a few on there. So check hash, that is the number of tracking files. So that is the way I'm going to be using this machine. That's the number of different bar tabs I can have open at any one time. I'm going to set this relatively low because although I'm using table tracking, it's not for a very big pub, and also I want my number of lines per check or per bar tab to be as high as possible. So I'm going to set this to 20. check lines, so this is the number of lines you can have per check or per transaction. I'm going to set that to 100. Check type 0, so that's the soft tracking file, which gives you the most amount of information, which is what I want. Price level, I only want one price level. That's something that does eat up a bit of memory, so I'm going to change that to 1. Mix and match, so that's like promotions. Really, that's, you generally use that in a convenience store if you're doing scanning, so that's where you set up your 3 for 2 or 3 for £10 type of deal. I'm not going to use that tool on this machine, so I'm setting that right down to 0. And then EJ lines is the number of lines you can have stored on the electronic journal, and I'm going to leave that because I'm not bothered about it. I'm going to leave it as it is. Then you press cache to finish. What I'll do, basically you can do the memory allocation wrong, so you can have a play around with it. You can try and set up, if you're trying to get more scanning lines or more tracking lines, you can have a go at it and kind of play around with the memory, and then if you did it wrong it would error, but then you could just start doing it again. So there I've got my memory allocation, 300 PLUs, basically everything I've set up there. So I've got the soft tracking file, which is what I wanted. It should say, so you can see there, total available and total used. I haven't got much to play with, so I've kind of, if I had set the tracking lines, the check lines to 150, I probably would have got the error message. But it doesn't matter if you get the error, you just try again. You just do the memory allocation again and then have a tweak around, because it's really important to get the most, spend a bit of time doing this and get the most out of the till, get the most amount of what you want. If you want lots of PLUs, shut everything else down as low as possible. If you want lots of price levels, then get rid of the mix and match and the different groups and that sort of thing. So once it's done, should just be clear, and then key back round to reg. I'd always recommend now, if you're going on to program the machine or use the machine, that you take the C key out, because you shouldn't really be in the service position, because it's where you do hard resets like we've just done. The machine will now work, so you can log in, start selling. Obviously there's no preset prices or descriptions on the machine, so probably what you're looking to do next, unless you're selling the machine on, is to do the programming. So you want to look up PLU programming. So these are all your PLUs. You've got 110 of them on the default keyboard, and then you can also program your receipt header message. We've got all the videos showing you how to do that. There'll be, some of those will be appearing on screen now, so you're welcome to check those out. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel or visit sam4shelp.co.uk for more. Thanks for watching.